Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts Vertek and Chibi are back from their latest adventure.
Hello, hello, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Golden Feather. Today is the 4th of November, and we are here getting ready for charity.
5th of November.
No, 5th. Oh my goodness, the 5th. It is the 5th.
It's not Thursday, otherwise we'd be watching
Days, they
Critical
fly
Role.
by. Yeah, right? Alright, so yeah, we're here getting ready for charity, which is going to be tomorrow. The thing we have on the screen here, right meow.
Oh no,
we have
we
our
could have
guest
put,
with us.
are you ready?
Are you?
Are
Oh
you ready for charity?
yeah. We totally could have. We totally could have.
But I bet you are ready for our guest.
Yeah, we have a new friend of ours here. He is by Rivak.
I loved that.
Yay!
I'm a little bit concerned because I'm not too sure if Horrendous knows me because that's my name, or if somebody else in chat is called Kieran. I'm very confused.
All of the above. Horrendous knows a bunch. He's surfing all the things everywhere all the time.
All the things everywhere,
Yeah.
constantly.
All the things. So this is Rivak. Welcome in.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Hello, everybody. I am Rivak. That's me. Hello. It's on my YouTube. Oh, of course it is.
Oh,
You threw me for a loop.
yeah.
You threw me for a loop. I was scared for a second then. I'm finally being recognised. It's happening.
It's happening.
Are you proud yet, Dad? No, wait. That's another story. Something else. We'll move on.
Whole other talk show. Whole other talk show.
But yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to the podcast, everybody. I'm really, really happy to talk about Ashes of Creation. I think it's honestly such a fantastic project, and I keep getting myself involved in too many kind of Kickstarter and early access projects, which I'm sure I'll talk about soon enough. But Ashes of Creation is one that I am super excited and stoked for sure.
I have to say,
Hopes.
as my first Kickstarter project, I am not upset.
I think this is a fantastic one to just be a part of. I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at stuff like the art style and what's planning on being there and the time and effort going into it and all of those other things, it's just exciting to see that, because you've got other games that just don't do that. I mean, if you take Chronicles of Illyria, for example. Yeah. Nobody please buy into Chronicles of Illyria. Don't look at that. Yeah, that's a little bit spicy.
If you haven't yet, you might not want to even Google it.
No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. It's
Google the reasons why
travesty.
not first.
Yeah. There's a lot more negative than there are pros for Chronicles of Illyria, for sure.
True.
But Ashes of Creation is going in a completely different direction, which is fantastic to see. And I mean, from a development perspective, there's actually been a game there that people have been able to play with Alpha 1. Of course, Alpha 2 is a couple of months away, and there's a clear direction and focus, which I just don't think you get that with many Kickstarter projects at the moment. That's why a lot of them tend to kind of fall back. And I'm really glad that Ashes hasn't, because, I mean, I've sat on the wiki for hours on end just going, wow, that's coming in.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Right. And there's a whole lot more that we'll be talking about in the upcoming segment. But
Yes.
Vertek, you had some announcements.
Did I? Maybe I did. Well, first off, I guess we haven't introduced you yet. I mean, most people here know who you are, but you never know. There might be somebody extra.
Hi, I'm the
This is my
random
lovely
person.
partner in Tavern and Life. This is the Chibi Bree. How are you today?
Hi. You mean I'm not a random person? You just pulled off the sidewalk. Was like, here, do a podcast with me. You just sat me down.
I mean, the first couple episodes, yeah, but you know, by now
I am.
you've learned to
kidding.
not stray too far from your chained chair. I mean, you enjoy it now, is what I meant to say.
repackaged. It's like, I'm not touching that one.
Somebody call somebody. Somebody needs help.
Slowly moves out of shot. I'm not going to a court case for this.
Not today. Not today. There we go. I had to mute my phone because I said I was going to before the stream and I didn't.
Vertex, stop.
Stop.
Not like this.
But yeah, I guess
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for asking.
Oh, you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome.
How are you?
But yeah, I guess the announcement she was talking about mainly is going to be that last episode we did mention that we were going to be splitting the contributions that you folks have all made towards our podcast. And last month it was about $200, so we're going to be giving 100 of that to the charity over this weekend. We've also, since Chibi has some exciting news, it's also going to be increased by our own contribution as well, because we've been blessed that she's found the job she's been looking for. So yay. And so we're going to actually add on another 250 on top of that from the Ashes of Creation community. What that means is I'll probably be hanging out in Discord, maybe in voice, I don't know, for most of the charity stream. And there'll be a bucket of money from the Ashes of Creation / the Golden Feather community. You guys can help me decide how it's spent. So if we're going to just dump it in with one big chunk, or more ideally, wait until they do the D&D thing, and then we can start, you know, messing with their roles and stuff. Yeah. So when you guys see a nice opportunity,
I may be present for some of that. I will be sleeping a good amount of Saturday because I will be, as I mentioned previously, a guest Sunday morning. So I figured instead of staying up normally and then getting up early at 5 o'clock, I would just sleep most of the day on Saturday and just be up from like kind of later in the day on Saturday into a good amount of the day on Sunday, and then just probably try to stay up as late as possible and then go back to sleep when I normally crash.
Yeah. Caffeine will be a friend.
Indeed, I will need all the caffeine.
But yeah, so if you see me in the voice chats, feel free to stop in. If they're doing the D&D thing and I'm not in voice chat, that means I'm doing work. So feel free to put a text chat in our Discord and I will likely see it immediately because that'll be on my other screen.
If you want, I can actually create a charity event text and voice channel, and that way it's very clear.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'll do that.
Then you folks can help me decide how we're going to spend money to mess with their campaign. That's going to be the main goal.
Yes.
What can we break?
I, for one, if I am allowed to request anything, I would like to see at least, what was it, $100 donation for their D&D stream. Gave you something, I forgot what it was, disadvantage maybe?
Not sure. I know we're about to see it here in a minute on the screen, but
okay.
They did have something where you could make them switch chairs.
Oh, that's cool.
And I forget how much that was. But
That's
I think it was maybe like 100 or 150, and I figured get them halfway through a campaign and make them switch chairs real quick.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I wonder what switch chairs means though. Like, does somebody else do
Everybody gets up and changes who they're playing, which character they're playing.
Including the GM?
Everybody switches characters. I don't know, maybe the GM too. What is it? Race change places is 450. Oh man.
Okay. I think it would be fun to wish a nat 1 upon somebody in the name of Michaelis. For those of you that don't know, usually on Monday nights, Vertec and I do D&D on my VTuber channel. We've been not doing it because of all of this like crazy interview stuff, but this coming Monday we're going to be doing it again. But Michaelis, I don't think he's in here right now, but he ordered a disadvantage on Vertec, and the one time that it happened 4
times in a row.
Yeah, one of the times that it happened, Vertec got a nat 20 and a nat 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Each deck, like, yeah, it was funny.
It would have been the greatest benefit for a advantage roll, but the worst deficit for a disadvantage, like the absolute worst.
Also, before I go any further, I wanted to say thank you so much, Horrendous, for the resub. We appreciate it. 14 months. Wow. Crazy how fast time flies.
Yeah.
Also, the part of the thing that reminded me of that is Horrendous says Paladin has to play Necro. Chicken flavored chicken, that would be Chick-fil-A.
Chicken flavored chicken is best chicken.
It's the only chicken.
Rocky guy. Huh?
The only chicken.
No. Oh, the only chicken. Okay. Yeah.
The only chicken.
The only chicken
Your
that
chicken
matters.
doesn't taste like chicken. Then you're probably
Grumpy Guy is our resident, well, actually Everywhere's resident chicken lover.
Yep. Whoa.
See the name Everywhere,
videos
and
doing
everywhere he
crazy
goes, there is chicken love.
Yeah.
So, Sir Vivek, since we have you on here for the very first time, ever, in all of time, ever, tell us a little bit about you, what you do for your projects normally, and what brought you to Ashes.
Yeah, so thank you again for having me here. It's great to generally be here. I think I picked up Ashes of Creation, it was earlier last year, or was it earlier this year? And I've always kind of been a big fan of MMOs, but never completely threw myself into them, I think was the biggest problem. So, I mean, Star Wars The Old Republic was one that I threw myself into, loved that, Elder Scrolls Online, World of Warcraft. But nothing ever was substantial in kind of the gameplay and how I could impact the world. And I think New World gave me a little bit of that, but I feel like Ashes of Creation is probably the game that's going to really bring me into that immersion of actually me as an individual being part of a larger group could seriously impact the world around us. And I think that's what brings a lot of people to Ashes of Creation. And that's kind of what has pulled me into it. Now I've been trying to create content for about 6 or 7 years on and off. Started streaming back in 2014, 2015. And I really got back into it in 2020, just before COVID hit. And I was primarily playing a lot of Escape from Tarkov. I did quite a few videos on Escape from Tarkov, which is both one of the best and worst games I've ever played. That's a different story. And I've been a long-standing backer of Star Citizen since 2016, and I've played it religiously since 2019. So I've focused a lot of my content kind of around that, around stuff that has been going on with Twitch as a platform, which recently has been a bit, and focusing on creating just in general. So I have a project running, which is few and far between, called the ICU, interviewing creators up front, where I'll speak to anybody who creates, for YouTube or streams on Twitch, and get their perspective of the whole kind of industry itself, how they feel about the industry, and kind of how do they balance their life and everything like that, and just get a kind of deeper dive into them as individuals, because I feel like that's something that people miss from creating, is there's a lot of personas that are created within the streaming and the content creation world, and nobody can really understand the person behind that, what are their sacrifices, what are the reasons they do it, why do they enjoy doing it. So I thought that would be a good project to do, and I haven't done an episode of that for a little while now. I've got 4, I think. One of them was, I'd say 2 of them are a lot larger than I am in terms of creation and stuff like that. And then there was a team that a stream team that I interviewed as well, and then a friend of mine who's a fantastic creator as well. So that was a lot of fun. Content creators aren't real people. No, we're not.
It's true. It's true.
No matter what scale you are, you're not real.
I was gonna say that's funny, just because that's kind of what we aim to do here. Is at least for like the first half of the show, is get to know the person that's doing the content stuff, or even for that matter, we've had some people on that don't create content, but just get to know the people in the community.
Yeah,
exactly. I think it's really important. I really do, because I just think you can lose that. I think there's that middle ground where you've got your creators who are really popular, and there's not enough. I just don't think you get to know that person or kind of their journey. And I think that's one of the most important things to kind of understand. And just, I feel like it makes people closer in that community, especially for that creator, because there may be something there that they didn't, somebody who's watched them for like a year or so didn't actually know. And it's not like I'm prying for secrets, like I'm going to get some dirt on you and it's going to be great. That's not what I'm looking for. But yeah. And then I turned to Ashes of Creation, and honestly, Ashes of Creation has been my biggest success throughout anything, really. I feel like when I was looking at things to create, Ashes has got this massive wealth of information. There is info left, right, and center for it, and there's not a lot of coverage being done on it. It's a lot of general coverage about what potential things could be coming up, but there's no deep dives or what's going to be coming for Alpha 2 and what's currently out there, and knowledge. I feel like a lot of people prefer to watch videos than what they would do looking at the wiki. So I scoured the wiki and created some content based on what was available on the wiki, and posted some things on Reddit. So there was a couple of polls that I did on the Reddit, on the subreddit. One of them was about changing the tank archetype, because I feel like tank as a archetype just doesn't make sense with the rest of the archetypes, and suggestions of what that could be changed to.
So since you said that, did you hear Steven's interview with BCG and as to why he called it the tank archetype?
I did not know.
So this was actually a question that they asked Steven on BCG's interview, and he said the reason why they called it tank is because nobody says I need a paladin, I need a warrior. Everybody says I need a tank. And so they decided to just call it a tank class because of that. In addition to other various explanations of the way that actual tanks work in terms of like being the big heavy guns kind of thing, that like so
yeah, but why didn't they just name cleric healer?
Right, I need a heal.
Everyone's like, we need a tank, a healer, and DPS. Okay, what kind of DPS? We need melee.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I think that's what a lot of people kind of grasp onto, because I understand it, because the tank archetype is the only class that can be a tank from what I know of it, which is a shame. I was hoping for a little bit more diversity kind of across that spectrum, but
anything that's secondaried with a tank has the ability to be a tank as well. It's just not it's not as good as tank.
No, then you throw into kind of a meta as well, and to a point of will it be as good as a tank archetype? Probably. Which it probably won't be. Yeah, if you've got a tank, that's it. You're going to choose a tank over a wizard tank, sure.
Yeah, tank cleric. There you go. You got paladin.
But see, if you go with say a bard tank, they could totally be an off tank and totally be boofing everybody while they're tanking little couple ads over here on the side real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who doesn't want to watch somebody dressed up in heavy armor singing as loud as possible as they're just headbutting things and just taking all the damage? That's what I want to see. That's what Ashes of Creation gives us. I want to see it. I desperately want to see it.
I have to see it.
But tank, where is your sword? I have bought a flute. We are fine.
Yeah, I just got like an instant mental image when you said that of a Viking singing sea shanties but dressed up like the bard from Witcher, like smashing people with like a steel lute.
I could just imagine somebody doing that and singing about giving toss a coin to your Witcher as he's attacking people.
Axe to the face, axe to the face, axe to the face.
Like toss a coin
I love it.
to your Witcher.
I can see it. That's kind of what I want to see. I think that's kind of another thing that I love about Ashes of Creation is how deep you as a player can go into building a character, because I know that it's loose. Really, it's 8 classes with another 8 different ways you can kind of go, and the augments are a major part of that to really build out and flesh out those characters. But I think outside of tank, you're not going to see a lot of the same kind of builds at all. I think tank is going to be, and maybe the cleric, they're going to be the only classes that are very standardized across the game, whereas everything else, I doubt you're going to find, unless there's something that's incredibly meta, which is going to be very different because of the way that they're working the combat system, because it's based on a grouping system instead of a one-to-one system, which makes a lot of sense from balancing perspective. But yeah, I feel like there's going to be a massive variation of classes outside of the healer and the tank metas, which that's another reason why I'm excited for Ashes of Creation. I mean, why can you not be excited for that? I hope that what they do is they take some things that New World have kind of implemented and put that in, and have a look at New World's issues and pull that out. Having 1 character per server, please God no. Please don't. If from my perspective, I in a particular server and I've helped build the world in that server, I want to continue building the world in that server. I don't want to have to, if I want to play healer, for example, and have to change characters, I don't want to have to change servers as well. I don't believe that's the thing that they're gonna do anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
But yeah.
Now, because you mentioned that, is that a thing that New World did? Is it 1 character?
Yeah.
Just
1 character per region world. By region, horrible. I mean, so you have like the EU, the NA regions, and they have buckets within certain servers, and you can only have 1 character per bucket.
Weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
You remove all possibility of somebody like role-playing 2 different characters, just in general. Like, even if they do the same stuff, they wouldn't be able to, get on and they want to be this whatever type of acting person today. You couldn't be a villain and a hero on the same server. What?
But I was trying to get my Jedi and my Sith, like, RP on. Come on. Oh, man.
I genuinely think that's something that the Ashes of Creation devs will take away. I believe they've looked at New World quite extensively and seen kind of what's worked, what the community's really flocked to, and are planning to do some things in some ways and other things in not those ways.
Right.
So that's really good. I think that's important within the industry as well, because the gaming industry is something that I'm really passionate about. I mean, it's basically my personality. I'm boring unless it comes to video games. If you're not a gamer, I'm like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I genuinely have nothing to say, and that's not your fault, that's my fault, because my personality revolves around my hobby. So yeah, excuse me, but I feel like the industry itself, it needs to lean on each other, and when you get people butting heads, my game's better than yours, no, they can make themselves better by taking what's best for one game and kind of try and implement that themselves. And I feel like Ashes of Creation devs are doing that, and are doing a fantastic job of that, looking at what works really well with other MMOs and what they can implement to kind of move it forward. I see a lot of inspiration from MMOs like Arcade coming into Ashes of Creation, especially from like naval combat and general movement and everything like that. So I think it's really interesting to see kind of what inspirations they've taken and what they think will work really, really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, heck yeah. And hello Z, by the way.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So I've just nattered on for a little while. People
no, that's why you're here. That's why you're here.
It's cool that being a gamer is a major part of the devs for Ashes, and I agree. I guess Z kind of Z first off. No. Okay?
No.
Z kind of missed the big announcement earlier, and I was offered a job position, and the people that I interviewed with today, they were also like really into gaming too. Like apparently that's something that they do in their free time together. They'll like play video games sometimes together. I thought that was really neat because like, I mean, obviously I like playing video games, but a couple of them play D&D and I was just like, heck yeah. I'm imagining because they usually like, especially when like the whole COVID thing is more like relaxed and, you know, we have a better idea of how it's going to be going forward and how people are going to handle it going forward. I was also thinking maybe slipping myself into there and being like, I wonder if I can talk my coworkers into doing a one shot with me. We're just like, I'll DM you while you guys are in a one shot. Thank you, Hernandez. But yes, just to reiterate, would you like to reiterate your announcement, Love, from earlier for the people that are just joining?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
So, on the last episode, we ended up saying that we're going to be donating half of our earnings on here, all the contributions to us. From last month, we're going to be donating half of that, which ends up being about $100. We're going to do that on the charity stream, and because she ended up just getting hired for a position, we're going to celebrate by taking part of that blessing and adding in another $250 on top of that from our own pocket and calling it from the Golden Feather community because you guys have been amazing to us.
Yes.
And we'll be hanging out in Discord. I'll be hanging out in Discord probably longer than her.
Yeah.
And
obviously.
letting you guys help me figure out how to spend it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Also, hi, Simurg. Good evening to you too, Ashes fam. Happy to have you jump in.
Hello, Sim.
Hello.
I hope you're doing. Did you raise another like $79,000 for charity in your stream again?
Hello. Banners in chat. I don't even think we have banners. That's something we should probably get is banners with the TGF.
Yeah.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
Banners in chat.
But yeah, for those who don't know, last year Sim on his channel ended up raising, I think it was it 10,000 flat or just really close to it.
Wow.
And just dumped a big pile of money at the Intrepid. This year took this year off. Oh, but yeah, $10,000 he raised for the charity thing and just dropped it in their laps. Like, here, we brought you stuff. Absolutely for the kids.
For the kids,
Yes.
always for the kids.
Yeah, indeed. For the kids.
That's
But,
awesome, though.
Yeah.
I think that's something I would always love to do as a creator, is be able to, you know, be to the point where you can run that and know that you're making a huge difference. That's the dream. That is the dream.
The dream.
Yes, I'm so excited for that, Sim. Sim said, I understand Chibi and I will be contributing some time this year for the event. Yes. So it's still giving in some way. Yeah, that's still, I mean, you're giving time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I will be a guest judge with Sim and I forgot his name. I'm so bad at this. I'm learning name because I haven't met this person before. Bustin. So
Bustin, yeah, that's right.
Bustin, Simurg, and I, we'll all three be judges, and that's 5:30 in the morning, I believe, on Sunday. Which, by the way, for those of you in the U.S., Sunday morning is fallback time, so it'll probably be an hour earlier. I have no idea. I'll make sure to like tag people for when we're about to get going, because that's going to be, I forgot how that's handled with the whole time change thing.
It just kicks in at like 2 in the morning or so.
Yeah.
And hello, Mifune. Welcome.
1:59 a.m. goes 1 a.m. And that's Mifian's someone from mine. Thanks for joining, Mifian. Much love.
Welcome in. Glad to have you. Sunday 2 a.m. we fall back. Yeah. So it goes 2 to 1. Just kidding. It's not 2.
That was kind of, because in the UK, that's what happened Sunday just gone.
Yeah.
So I was downstairs. I was playing some games with a few friends on my Xbox, and then I got the message from Vertec like, "Oh yeah, we're going to do some audio checks and everything in 15 minutes." I'm going, you mean an hour and 15 minutes, right? Wait, no, the clocks went, oh no. And so we're starting in 20 minutes, aren't we? Are we? Like, yes. I'll be right there. Trying to run up the stairs, like tripping up them, turn the computer around quick. I panicked. I definitely didn't panic. I didn't panic.
I panicked. I didn't panic.
Got it again.
Make sure to bring a towel and don't panic.
Yeah.
Tripping up myself, like getting ready.
But yeah.
Am I a cosmetics collector in Ashes?
Man.
I'm gonna say no.
No.
Or not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet.
We'll work on him. Don't worry, guys.
Signal here, ducks.
What?
You want to imagine? She says sucks. Because I don't know if she's trying to signal ducks where she's at, because that would be a great image in my head, and I really need to see her trying to signal down ducks. Here, ducks.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, so sir.
Fail, we missed last month. I'm just gonna say that, but we'll come back to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm super sad. I didn't get around to buying any of the last month's cosmetics. I really, really wanted them though, especially that armor set. But yeah,
Quack.
Financials and stuff.
Quack quack.
I really wanted that armor set.
Yeah.
I really have to cool down on stuff like cosmetics because, like I said earlier on, I'm a big advocate of Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
But that game absolutely destroys any form of disposable income you could ever come across, to a point where you have to sit there, look at yourself in the mirror, and say, if you don't stop, then that is it. It is over.
Yeah, like, hey, we have this new ship you can buy. It's a cosmetic thing for when you get in the game. It's only $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. Quick, where's my card? No.
Yeah.
No more. So when it comes to stuff like cosmetics, I try my best to steer clear as much as possible. Doesn't always work.
Yeah, we see, I had an addiction to buying the Ashes cosmetics. For a while there, I would buy all the cosmetics that looked even mildly appealing to me almost every single month. And then I realized I need to back off, so I stopped paying attention. And I missed by like a day getting one super badass armor set about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And then this one came by, and I was like, I don't know, I should probably not spend the money, but I really want to. Yeah, and then I was like, no, I saved enough, I got it, I can do this. And I went to look at it, and I was literally like 4 hours too late.
Yeah.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Yeah, I'm aiming for Nico and Pet Cosmetics. Nice. Honestly, I'm super interested in the pet for this new month. I'm excited.
Okay. Oh, all right, Samurg. Go. Don't be late. Don't be late.
Yeah.
Or
go,
don't be too late.
Thanks for dropping by.
But yeah, I suppose being here in Ashes podcast, we should probably talk some Ashes. So I'm curious.
We were talking Ashes.
What? I know.
Okay. Confused me. I'm sorry.
Talking more about the game than the cosmetics, because I'm brokenhearted about the cosmetics.
Fair. We don't win.
So, what is your favorite draw to Ashes, sir? What's one of the things that made your eyebrows raise the most? Because there's a lot to raise eyebrows in the game and what they're talking about. But what's the one that made your eyebrows go the highest up your forehead?
I nearly lost them at one point when I realized how much you can impact the world. I think with the whole node system, I think researching the node system, I nearly broke my jaw on my desk because it dropped so quickly. I feel like nothing has really done that. Nothing's come close to trying that kind of a system, and the way the whole system works, I think, is fantastic, and how larger nodes will kind of encompass the smaller nodes, and the world kind of gets built around that. So one server's not the same as another. And I think when I was researching it, and they were saying they were going to do a whole list of the history of that server for newer players. So if I start playing Ashes of Creation 2 years down the line, I've got an entire history of everything that happened from the moment the server went live. And I think just the general depth of that information, and I mean, we're still in an alpha. We don't know if that's going to really come to fruition. But I mean, the node system itself is now a tried and true tested system that works well. And that's obviously going to be in the game, and that's honestly, I've not seen, heard, or even thought about a system like this before. And then once it came about, I just thought to myself, that is incredible. I want to be a part of it. Oh, it's $500. I don't want to be a part of it yet. But yes,
Steep.
it's just, it looks incredible.
Yeah, and see, that's one thing that kind of cracked me up early on is I got hooked by the nodes thing as well. And then you'd see some folks making comments like, oh, other games have done that already. Like Black Desert does that. Wait, no, not, nope. Nope.
Not to this
not
extent
at all.
they have it.
And yeah,
Close,
they're
but
just
not
some of the
quite.
pulls.
Yeah.
And you know what? The lore of the game really interests me, especially when you look at like the orc races, for example, especially like the Vec and the lore behind all of them. They're really interesting. They're not your typical fantasy styled orcs and dwarfs, and thank God they changed the dwarf model, by the way, but let's skip through that very quickly because we could be here for a while.
Don't like gnomes? What do you got against gnomes?
Yeah, I've got nothing against gnomes as long as they're called gnomes. It's the tank argument again. Let's not.
Don't do
but
it.
no, I think the lore is really interesting. It's a little bit of something different from everything else. It's not your traditional. You know, when you're looking at orcs as a race, you expect them to be aggressive, and both of the orc sub races are not. Well, they can be, but they've suppressed it quite a lot, and they're very spiritual, which I know orcs generally are, but they seem to have taken that extra step over. I mean, becoming stargazers and believing that the future is in the stars is something that's really interesting from a lore perspective for me.
Right.
And I mean, who doesn't want to be part of the Vec?
See, I knew we were going to get along. I knew we were. Because that's going to be my first one. Like, I don't care about any kind of what the benefits of each are, but I'm going to be a Vec tank. That's going to be the number one character to begin with, right out of the gate. Vec tank.
See, and I think I might be the same because they're so interesting. A really great race, and I know, of course, everybody wants to go with a Tolnar because I mean they're awesome. They're so cool. We know nothing. We know absolutely nothing about them. We've not seen them properly, and everybody's going, "Oh, I tell you what, Tolnar, that's my race. That's what I'm going to go for." And I'm granted, I'm going to have 5 characters probably in the first week, all at about level 10, because I'm just sat there going, "Okay, I want to play that, and then I want to play that, and then I want to play that, and I want that one. I definitely want one of those." And that's it. Like, oh yes, I'm level 25. Level 5 still, but it's my 7th character. Yeah, 4 of them might be.
If you add them all together,
Right.
There's one Tolnar.
Oh man.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's one Tolnar. I like it. That's what you did there.
They're all fantastic races, and like I said, the lore is just super interesting. I really like how they're starting the world after the kind of apocalypse. There's about 7 different names for it.
Right.
And I don't know, there's so many things that pull me towards the game. I mean, my most recent video that I did on it was the weather system and how seasons will completely change the way that you traverse the land. Like, one passage in winter might not be open, but it could be open during summer. And as somebody who likes to kind of trade and adventure just around the world and see what the world has to offer, knowing that one route to another settlement could be completely different in summer than what it could be in winter, I found that super interesting.
Yeah. No, honestly, I think I can't wait till they like cement the weather system in terms of like how long each one lasts. But that definitely stood out to me for sure as well. I
think they said it was only going to be about a week, so it would change seasons every week, unless there was something that impacted it.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Protect?
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, the weather thing also has my attention in a big way. Just the fact that there can there will be actual effects on the world by the weather, and it's not just, hey, out in the world of the real life place, there's winter time, so let's add some snow decoration to stuff. No,
Yeah.
there's actual things happening on a constant and rotating basis.
Yeah.
And it's
Miranda,
fantastic.
that you are not allowed to bring that up in this chat while we're live because Vertec will go down.
I will turn this into a
whole
Wheel of
rabbit
Time
hole.
podcast in about a second. Don't you worry. You have no idea how long I've been waiting for that to come out. And I scored some, granted, it's a first come, first serve, but I scored the opportunity with 2 tickets to go to a screening on the Monday the 15th and watch episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Ah. So hopefully I'm going to make that. Watch it in the theaters. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's so many things that pull me to this game, and I could sit here and talk about them for ages because it's not just those. There's so many. There's, I think one of the things that I'm not looking forward to is one-on-one PvP.
Yeah.
I feel
I'm
like
not a PvP person either.
I'm definitely not, but I feel as if they've gone at it thinking they're only going to focus on group balancing. So I understand group balancing from a war perspective, but I mean PvP is always going to be there when you're out in the wild, and the likelihood of you constantly coming across groups of people is going to be a little bit unlikely. So there may be those instances of 1v1 combat, and because there's no balancing system for 1v1, they said it's going to be closer to a rock paper scissors, so it's a lot of just by chance. For me, it's not necessarily a problem. Actually, it's going to be a benefit to me as a player because I don't do PvP because I suck at PvP. It's not a case of, I'm really excited about PvP. I'm not excited about PvP because I suck. I'm awful at PvP. Honestly, I can't, my fingers, the moment that I get like anybody in my face, that's it. I face roll the keyboard. No! Gone. So it benefits me that I can just hit a couple of buttons and that's it. I could defeat that person. Like, yes, I nailed it. I'm so good at this. Although I know that they're not balancing it. But yeah, that's how it goes.
Ashes
So
of
that's-
Nair, welcome in. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ashes of
Sorry.
Nair. Much appreciated.
Oh, that's all right.
6-month sub renewed. Thank you much.
Yay. Also, good evening.
Good evening. But
I don't know why my head
yeah.
was just posh with that.
But yeah, the thing it does open up for is actually gathering groups together. Or if you're gathering towards helping your guild progress with stuff while also working on your own gathering things, that could be a total guild event. You get some people who dig the PvP in groups and they wander around with a group of gatherers just gathering everything, and if someone comes to try to get in the way, they can either move or get mowed down. Like, don't attack our gatherers. You're going to get murdered, and we're going to hide in the bushes and wait for it because we want to get you.
Good point.
I think-
Ashes and Air, and also welcome in, Lishi. Thanks for the follow.
I think I completely agree. It's going to open up more gameplay opportunities for, as Horrendous has said, mercenary guilds. And I think that's something that some other games that I'm really looking forward to kind of have as well. That kind of element of, well, we want to go and gather or trade, but we know this is a dangerous route because of X, Y, and Z. So maybe we should bring in some other players to help us with potential PvPs. What I'm not looking forward to, which I think quite a few PvP games end up falling into, is you just get one huge group with the sole intention to just kill people for no reason. And I think Ashes have got a great system in place, the kind of corruption system and the bounty system that's possibly going to stop that. But you're still going to have those group of 20 people zerging around the place, just killing people for no reason. I think if there's purpose to it, it makes complete sense. If you're PvPing purely off the basis that I need these, my guild needs all of this gathering stuff, this mine is my guild, so I will battle you for it. There's no two ways around it. That's fine. But if people are hanging around cities just waiting for people to leave or waiting for people to come in, I think if we go back to, sorry, I'm going to use New World quite a few times as an example because it's the most recent MMO that's come out. The biggest problem I had with New World was the PvP quests themselves. You had to collect them from a location, flag PvP, leave the location where you were able to fight for PvP, and people in PvP groups would sit outside the front gates, wait for you to come back and just kill you for no reason, just because they wanted to. And if Ashes can avoid that, which I believe it can, I think there's a lot of good systems in place, then it should be fine. But as a PvEer, I'm terrified of PvP because I'm not good at it. Any great PvPers out there, please help.
Please help.
Please.
Well, see, yeah, and that's where I think that the way they have it set up, there's so many checks and balances. Like, you really need your crafters in your guild to be happy, and just in general need to be happy, so that they will craft things with materials for you and your guild and all that. They need to have the things that they need. So you get that by going in PvP and by going into dungeons and raids and getting all that stuff. And you give it to the crafters, and the crafters are only going to be happy to craft it for you or stay in your guild at all if you help them gather without getting beat down. And just people in general outside of town, there's going to be like the corruption system, and if you hang out near a town and you're corrupted, everybody who likes PvP is going to see somebody corrupted and be like, let's kill him! Woot.
You! I'm coming for you!
Because they can slay without any repercussions. They can just walk up and start fighting a corrupted person and not even care.
Yeah. I think they've got a good system for it, definitely.
Definitely. Hey, Lolist, welcome in. Lola says there always will be people who would just PvP for the sake of it. And Vale Mistwarden, I thought it would be cool if a GM flagged a gathering bot to be banned, that it would then trigger a kill quest for nearby bounty hunters. Once they killed the bot, they would then complete the ban. I thought that was really cool.
It's an interesting system, definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, even more interesting. Even more interesting is if they flagged them as like corrupted in a way that would make them drop like everything it's carrying as far as like gatherables. There you go. There's your penalty. You just helped somebody else get ahead in the market. Good job, bot. Good job.
I think, Ashes, I mean, you make a good point. Like, I've played a lot of Escape from Tarkov, so when it comes to stuff like PvP, usually I'm fine with it. I'm fine with PvP anyway. It doesn't bug me that much, but I know that PvP can be quite a sticky topic when it comes to a community in a game, for sure. And yeah, if PvP's done right, and I believe Ashes of Creation is moving in the correct direction with it, they've got the systems, or they're planning to have the systems in place where you're not going to be PvPing for the sake of it, just because you want to zerg around and stuff like that. It's absolutely fine, and I'm just kind of picking holes into it, really, because I believe they've got the right system in place, the correct balance for PvE and PvP, and a good system that's going to bring people together, as Vertek has said as well. So, yeah, whilst PvP terrifies me, I'm still going to do it. To become fear. To conquer fear, you must become fear, that kind of system.
Right. Castles look like taxes from each region. If people are killed, trade stops. I think ULC guilds in charge are going to end up policing their own regions. What always carry 60% of rocks, 40% mithril.
So, yeah, believe it or not, like we were saying earlier, time does fly. It does fly by. We are nearing the end of the podcast time that we have, but there's still a couple things I'd be curious about talking about in a speed session, I suppose, of sorts.
That's my fault. I love the sound of my own voice.
Speed round, go!
Yeah, speed round, go! Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. It's why, like I said, it's why we have you here. It's why we have you here, so you can talk and introduce people to the you instead of just the content you create, right?
Yeah, to the
Thank you very much.
So someone actually made a post on the forums, Ulf Brinter, And it says, should Intrepid offer a bug/exploit bounty system? And for like a smattering of context, I kind of disagree with what they were saying to begin with, because they were saying that that person and their friends would go through and find exploits and just keep them to themselves. Yeah, just keep them to themselves. That way they could just do whatever with the game. But, you know, if they offered a bounty system where they would pay us, we'd totally have told them about the bounty, the bug or the exploit. Like, oh, well, good job for one, outing yourself. You might be scouted in the game, just saying. They might pay extra attention to you. But I guess there's something to be said about honesty. But what do you think? Do you think that should be a good thing if they were to dump, like, you know, a couple months worth of free game time or cosmetics or whatever on people if they find bugs and exploits?
I mean, I don't think game time or cosmetics would be the right way to kind of go about. Well, maybe cosmetics, but not something that you could buy as in a special cosmetic to say, you know, you were somebody who exploited exploits, or sorry, that's the wrong term. Found exploits and told the development team about it. I think you have to be careful with that kind of thing, because if you're giving people free game time, for example, you're going to upset a lot of the community members who have paid that money. I think anything that's monetary shouldn't be gifted to somebody for free, because it's going to upset quite a few people, if that makes sense. I like the thought of the exploit kind of rewards. But then again, it's an opportunistic thing where, you know, how do you go about finding that? What gets acknowledged? You know, if 100 people say that they found the exploit, but only 10 people get rewarded for it, that there's a lot of issues there that can happen. I feel like a community like Ashes of Creation are going to be more wanting to make sure that the game's bug-free, exploit-free as soon as possible, rather than want the rewards from it. If that makes sense. They want the game to be in such a fantastic state that anybody can kind of play it without issue. So I think if bugs arise, exploits arise, communities are on it like that. So I don't think a reward is necessary. Personally, I mean, I would love free stuff. Who wouldn't? But I just don't think it's necessary personally.
Yeah, I think, personally, I think there's a balance to be found, to be honest. Like, because I think the person may have been talking as actually getting like paid for finding them instead of getting like game time or cosmetics or whatnot. But I think just people getting free game time for spending their game time finding what's broken with the game, I think that would be a decent reward for it, because you could totally play the game for free if you're spending part of your time finding exploits, which, to be honest, most of the people that find them enjoy the process of finding them. So they get to do something that they like, playing a game they like, and then get free game time for turning them in, you know?
Yeah.
I think the other side of that, though, is how do you acknowledge that an individual is using their game time to find these exploits and bugs? You know, would the reward come from them finding a bug? And if so, does that mean that they've wasted 3 days of their game time, not found anything, thus not been rewarded, whereas somebody who's found a bug within 15 minutes and them not necessarily looking for it has then been awarded 3 days of game time? I think there's too many situational issues there that could benefit one person and then put somebody else at a disadvantage with that, I think.
Yeah,
it'd be a bit difficult to do that, to balance that and to look at that, I think.
So here's the dark side of that coin, though. If they don't turn it in because they're not getting any kind of reward, that could, in theory, depending on the exploit, completely unbalance the economy towards their favor or their friend's favor. They could become quadzillionaires while everyone else is like, I think I got 1,000 gold this week. Yay! And they made like 100,000 because they were able to sneak into the end boss layer of a raid and like kill it without it noticing because you didn't open the door first, so it never reacted to you or something.
I want to take a moment and kind of address what Ashes of Nera put. Ashes and Air says, I like the discussion being brought up because the reality is there are people who are only motivated by that kind of greed. As I suggested in the thread, I would actually like a bounty system for cash, but only after they have hired the professional companies that specialize in black, gray, white box penetration testing and have they have a go at it. The basic truth is it is of real monetary value for Intrepid to get the serious exploits fixed.
Yeah, and that's absolutely the case. But also, like, I was thinking as I was reading it right before you read it out loud, is that yeah, we do need to make sure that they're getting like an external, or maybe we need to, like, we're their boss or something. We need to hope that they get some kind of serious testing done on their side, because you can have alpha and beta test all day long, and there's going to be people who want to do this and that. But you're talking about thousands of people, even tens of thousands of people. You get hundreds of thousands of people in there, and 5 of them just want to find the exploits and use them to get ahead faster than anybody else, and they're going to find them and use them. And then that's just going to damage the economy in ways that are unpredictable at that point, because who knows if it'll even be detectable as an exploit.
Yeah, right.
They may have to look super deep into weird logs after they find out that there's some kind of weird imbalance happening.
Yeah.
That might be the only way they can find it, is by spending weeks and weeks of time, and suddenly they've devoted $30,000 worth of Intrepid money to finding who is using an exploit, let alone how it's actually being done to fix it.
Yeah.
And again, would the reward suffice enough to have somebody put that exploit forward? It's the question.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I just don't think we'll ever come to a right conclusion when it comes to exploits. I think games nowadays are so complex that there's always going to be something. I mean, you take games that have been out for 10 years that are still going on, like World of Warcraft. Every single new update, there's something to exploit. There's a bug somewhere, there's an issue somewhere, and I just don't think that will ever be fixed. And there's always going to be opportunists, and I'm not sure a reward would be big enough for them not to exploit, especially if, let's say, for example, Ashes of Creation ends up falling into the unfortunate world of real money transfer for items in game. You know, 5 extra days game time is going to be nothing compared to the thousands of dollars they could probably make on a black market for a particular item in game. So it's a really difficult topic, and
It is.
I understand the thought process behind it. I just personally, I don't think it will have the impact desired for the reward. I still think people will just keep hold of the exploit and thus continue to exploit it.
Yeah. I don't know how to say your name. I'm just going to call you Vac. Sorry, Vac. We don't quite really know how crafting works in this game quite yet. We have a rudimentary idea from Alpha 1 and a theoretical of how it should work once it's completed. But as of right now, that is not something that is fully fleshed out, and that is something that we look forward to testing, hopefully in Alpha 2. Also,
yeah,
welcome
the
in.
very bare basics. Very bare basics. There's going to be 3 different branches. There's going to be gathering, processing, and crafting. And you can be a master of one.
Mm-hmm.
One
If
per
you
character,
want
that's
to
it.
check out more information, there's the wiki. I highly recommend it. They cite everything. All of their sources are cited, and it's definitely one of the ones that I endorse the most. It is not even ran by Ashes of Creation, aka Intrepid. It is ran by LexMax and the community. So they work very hard at putting all of that information in a good manner. Herenda says, if I clone my chicken with dragon DNA, it lays royal melt eggs. Woohoo! But yeah, it should be in-depth, similar to Star Wars Galaxies. So we have heard in regards to Vac's question. I just want to make sure that that was answered. They weren't left unnoticed. But did you have other things to share? Because I know we're getting real tight on time here.
Yeah, we are. Normally we wouldn't really care too much about the time. We'd go ahead and lapse over, but we have stuff going on after this we gotta run away to. I did want to share the Twitter stuff covering the 24-hour live stream. I know everybody probably knows about it already, but it does bear repeating that they are doing the 24-hour live stream starting tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, morning, 10 a.m. PST, which is 1 p.m. EST. And then for 25 hours, because of the clock turn back, they're going to be live.
So
and,
just, I guess you would have to see if they're live with us, because actually that's something we were just talking about in the chat over here, which is what I have to get to after this. Technically at 2 o'clock, it'd be 1 o'clock again. So if you're not sure, for those of you, I think, Revac, you're in Europe, yes?
Yes.
So if you're in European area, whatever 2 o'clock normally would be, and then increase your, I think it's 4 hours, 5 hours, 9 hours. Oh my gosh, hold on. Give me a second.
You can do this. You can do this.
I can't do this. 7 hours ahead, because you are 4 hours ahead of me and I'm 3 hours ahead of them. So 4 plus 3 is 7, I promise. But yeah, so 7 hours ahead is when you guys should have it. So it would technically, our time would be going backwards an hour. So it'll be technically 4 a.m. my time and technically 1 a.m. their time, but it's already been 1 a.m. Yeah, this is a very confusing weekend to put this on.
You can do it.
Goodness.
You can do it.
Got this.
Got this. Keep yourself posted.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So 24-hour thing. They're giving away Alpha 2 keys and more. Lots of fun stuff. They always do really interesting things. They drop some lore. They drop some random stories. They do silly stuff. Apparently there's, if they hit certain goals, they're going to be just jumping directly in the pool with whatever they're wearing, which could be anything at that moment it strikes. So, you know, they could be in their Dino T-Rex costumes doing doing lightsaber battles, which is always entertaining. And then they just have to run and jump in a pool immediately. Ready, set, go.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a big thing.
Thank you, Lore. I'm not very good at time zone things. I'm sorry. I'm really not.
Time zone things are crazy.
Right.
They confuse
Especially when they're changing left, right, and center.
Oh my gosh, right?
Hence, again, why I was nearly an hour late.
Yeah. Oh man.
Which does happen.
Yay,
Right,
time
so-
weirdness.
Yeah. Here we go. So this thing, I'm not sure how many people caught this,
Oh my gosh.
but they did a, if I can
Who is that in
adjust
the
this
back?
thing
That's
properly.
terrifying. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is, but I know what that is. Oh, there we go.
Oh man. I bet they'd be
Oh, there
cleaning
we go.
pie out of that pool for days later. It's a great picture. I
Yeah,
agree.
here's the costumes they ended up wearing to the office. How's that for an office party?
Right? Oh man. I'm so excited.
Oof.
That's the new office, isn't it, that they opened up recently?
Yes. Their
Yeah.
new
Mhm,
office
mhm.
of all things. What better way to break in a new office than a costume party?
True
Just saying.
story. There we go.
We know who is Steven's pet. The duck.
The duck.
Wow.
There are some great costumes across there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love how somebody is Teemo. That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
Yeah,
how
some-
hot
I-
it was in San Diego. It was cold here.
I want to say the red jacket and hat is supposed to be a Carmen Sandiego. That's the only thing I can think of.
No,
with the
I
red
think
hat
he's from
and
an
red jacket?
anime. I've seen that before. It's from an anime, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Adam's
I
in the
have-
chat somewhere, and he'll know exactly what it is.
A blonde guy in a red outfit.
Yeah, true story.
I
Ashes.
used to-
Ashes and error.
Maggie looking pretty. Yeah, I agree. I
actually
agree.
watched it not that long ago. Ah.
And the little plague doctor.
Yeah.
Plague Raven.
Yeah, love it. It's a good series. The guy next to Timo looks like the guy that I expected to come out of the little shorts about like quests and stuff in MMOs.
No, he looks like he's about to call me criminal scum. Get back here, criminal scum.
I don't know. That's Gryffindor colors.
Yeah. Probably just a House of Gryffindor.
Just a standard issue Gryffindor.
Unless he's trying to be Harry. Is Harry Potter Gryffindor?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Maybe,
As a British
it's-
citizen, I must know everything about Harry Potter all the time.
for me, it's a tiny image, and I think he's wearing glasses, so maybe he's trying to be like Harry Potter. Yes,
I mean, he's
Helsing!
rocking the shoes, so...
Yes, thank you, Warlord. That was it. Hello, Eroj, welcome in.
Helsing, yes. Oh my
yeah,
god,
yeah,
that took me
yeah,
longer
okay.
than it should have.
They are good call out. That's the greatest first time chat ever.
Yeah, right?
Good on you.
We welcome those.
That was frustrating me. I only watched Helsing not too long ago. I didn't even know the character's name before I could remember the name of the show. It was Alucard.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
There
god,
you go.
Alucard.
It's Dracula backwards.
I bet that's where Michaela
I feel ashamed. I'm disappointed
Quite
and
possibly.
ashamed of myself.
Oh. I'd add to that,
shame.
but I felt like maybe your self-shame was enough.
Thanks.
So,
He says,
I
obviously being actually thankful.
think, I think we should show them the crying video.
Crying video?
Yeah, how long is that?
That one is like a 7 or 8 minute video.
Okay.
It's
Eroj,
not a
it
not a
starts-
super short one.
Starts tomorrow, at 1 p.m. ish Eastern and
Eastern.
10 a.m. ish Pacific. So I will let everybody else calculate their time zones from there. And remember that they're starting at this time pre-time change.
Yeah. All right. So here are the cosmetics, because I know that you were all about the one, especially.
Oh yeah, new cosmetics. Yeah, so do we. We're so excited, Eroj. If you want to hang out, I'll just reiterate this while he's grabbing it. Vertac will be hanging out more so in the chat tomorrow. I'll be sleeping for most of the day because I got to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, or a little bit earlier than that on Sunday, to be a guest on the Minecraft Judge panel. So I'll be with Simurg and Bustin, and we'll all be guest judges for it. And you can hang out with Vertec and help choose when to toss some coin into the donation pot.
The Golden Feather will have about $350 to toss in at whenever the most inopportune time for the teams would be.
Yeah, and I love that necklace. Let me just say, it's pretty. Actually, it's like it's like a blue phoenix with the wings.
Yeah, I can
Like a
see
little
it.
blue falcony phoenixy thing. Yeah.
I have no idea Ash is in there.
Lava Gate
All I know is
2.0.
All I know is I'm a judge.
But yeah, look at that cute little thing.
Love a Gate 2.0. Oh, that's adorable.
Little living wave.
Oh, so cute. I want
Yeah, I
it.
think that's probably honestly the one thing I would debate getting from here.
Got the mount and the pet. Nice. Yeah, I
Chris's
saw the
mount
mount
is
on
interesting.
LinkedIn.
Followed by the salt spine.
Yeah.
Fun fact-
Followed by this creature.
Yeah. Fun fact, I follow Ashes of Creation or Intrepid on LinkedIn just because I thought it was cool. And if they ever had a position open for front-end development, I wanted to see. But I saw this guy pop up on my LinkedIn feed while I was looking through for a job or whatever. And I was like, oh, hi. Where'd you come from?
Looks like an iguana that was forced to lay on its side and eat papayas all day, every day for hundreds of years. And just that's
I
your
imagine
life.
him being very slow.
Yeah.
See, now if
Have
it's
you ever
very
seen
fast,
an
that's
iguana run?
terrifying.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine that running at you at 70 miles an hour.
Oh my
Oh,
god, I
God,
would
no.
cry. I'd be like, nope,
cry.
not me, not this one.
No.
Climb up a tree and hope it can't follow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. And then these, which are very Nikwa looking. Doesn't got chins, it's got bodies.
If you want, let me go ahead and grab that Rady's children message thing, and then I'll link that in the chat for people that want to go look at it.
Yeah, definitely. If you folks haven't, definitely check it out. It's worth a watch. It made me tear up. I'm not going to lie.
They've tattooed faces. Yeah, it eats a cake. Oh gosh.
And this is an interesting
Oh.
garden boat.
Okay, my brain didn't process that properly at first. It looked like a strange trebuchet.
Like.
And then I realized what it was.
Why is that called a? I'm confused.
It's shaped
I'm
like a
confused
boat,
by
but
this
it's got a
one.
little garden in it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like it, but
It's
I'm
a very
like,
interesting caravan.
is that a okay? So it's a caravan, not a boat, but it. Okay, my mind just broke a little.
Mine did as well.
Yep.
I couldn't. But my eyes could see it, but my brain couldn't process it at all.
I'm like, boat or caravan? It's a boat van? Have we seen water-based caravans yet? I have no
A boat
idea.
van.
Boat van.
I love it.
Yeah, it's neat. And then the little
Yeah, that's
tiki hut.
fair. Good point, Warlord. In case there's a flood, the caravan will be okay.
Okay, I love that.
That's cute. It carries the boaters
Yeah, it's a very
that
chill
have
little
returned
house.
to Tide Hearth. It can turn.
I would happily live there forever. Look at that.
That's a cute building.
Yeah.
That's I
very
feel like
dandy.
if we moved the Golden Feather onto the beach, that's the Golden Feather.
Little tiki
Humble
hut.
Pretty
version.
much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, and then I just had one other thing that I thought was really freaking cool. And I just gotta dig it back up again.
I want to be a Nikuin. Do it.
Want to be a Nikuan.
Who doesn't want to? They're awesome.
I complained about that one. There's no water for the dock and boat. Yeah.
It's just in the middle of dry land.
Well, maybe
Right,
you're
so-
docking a caravan instead of a boat.
This last thing I wanted to share is some fan art from
Fan
Cynical
art.
Bean out on the forums.
Goddess of creation. Ooh. Is this Goddess of
It
Homes?
is, yeah. It's their interpretation of a humanized
Oh wow.
goddess of life.
That's awesome. That looks really cool. I just
Yeah,
realized that was
yeah.
her hand coming out. I had no idea what that was for a second. Again, I'm seeing
Explosion.
these like literally this big on my screen, so
It's a bunch of
It's-
little stumpy arms coming off of her shoulder.
that's what
Yeah.
I mean. That's not exactly what I thought. I thought it was something to do with her hair. I thought it was an interesting hair thing. I don't know, but then I
Oh, here
realized
you go. Maybe
it was...
maybe this one will help.
Well, no, I can see it now. I'm just saying, like initially, I was just like, "What is that?" That's really cool.
It astonishes me how some people are so incredibly artistic. I can't.
No,
I can
Nero.
barely write words. I can barely talk words. I can't even draw, paint, or anything along those. I would love to be that talented.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't have the art bone in my body either.
no,
I think I missed that part.
I can't draw a line straight. Like, I like thinking about being able to do that.
Again,
Right?
I wanted to say sorry for having to cut to Gene Gray's that you right. That's what I thought too. Sorry about having to cut tonight a little short. I have to get stuff prepped for the thing, and apparently there's stuff I have to do with downloads and stuff like that. And
Getting ready and prepared.
Getting ready and prepared, and everybody's on Pacific, and I don't want to keep them waiting after work much longer than they need to be, so.
Yeah. Well, sir, would you have any closing words for the people? Anything you would like to share about yourself or your projects or anything?
No, I think I've said plenty about everything, really. Honestly, thank you guys for having me on. Again, I've said it like 5 times and I'll keep saying it. It's been a pleasure. I think the discussions have been fantastic today. It's been great to find more like-minded people about Ashes of Creation and other creators. So honestly, it's been such a pleasure being here and interacting with everybody in the chat as well. Thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. They're my parting words.
Well, thank you for popping on with us. Had fun, enjoyed the talk, enjoyed learning more about you. And everybody who joined us here in chat, thank you so much for stopping by. We, as always, appreciate every moment you spend with us. Could have been doing anything, including making your own goddesses of creation. Who knows? Maybe you could make it with peanut butter and jelly on the wall. That sounds like art to me. You could probably sell that wall for a lot of money.
Oh my gosh.
Bye then.
Till next time.
Well, really quick here. Let's see. Is there anybody to raid?
Is
there anybody on to raid?
We could raid Bustin. He's playing League of Legends. Simerg is apparently playing the Witcher card game.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Tech Deck is playing Lost Art.
Sim sounds like a good one to raid. I mean, he did stop by and say hello, so we can always share some love back, yeah?
Indeed.
Oh, well, we'll take you right on over there.
Yeah, we'll take you right with us. Start raid.
Oh my gosh. He's playing the Gwent card game, but the one image that he had on there, I swear to goodness, looked like the baddie from I swear to goodness, he looked like the baddie from Lemony Snicket's Unfortunate Events, series of Unfortunate Events.
Yeah, Lust. We've raided Tech Deck a few times. I think we just had Tech Deck on last week or the week before. We had him on super recently. So yeah, definitely.
Yep, I had him on last week, and then we played some Goose Goose Duck with him afterwards.
Yes, we did. And thank you, Warlord, for the follow. We appreciate that. Welcome in. Welcome to the Golden Feather. Well, are you guys ready?
Ready to do this?
Right over?
Yes.
All right. I need you to put phoenixes and hammers in the chat when we go. You want to count us down?
Yeah. Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.